Oh man, boys and girls, ladies and gents, whoever's watching this, you'll never guess what I bought. I bought another project. So on the last video, hopefully you guys, actually let me turn this down here. Before I get started, if you guys haven't seen my last video of the start of the garage build, you might want to go check that out just because the garage is actually coming together pretty nice. It is still a humongous pile of mess because I haven't been able to get a lot of stuff taken care of just because I still haven't gotten sheets to cut my shelf stands and stuff. So other than that, it's still a mess, but we picked up another project. Of course, we already have the mini bike torn apart. So if you guys haven't seen those two videos, the start of the mini bike or the start of the shop build, you might want to go check those out before you see this, just because, I mean, I'm just starting the channel and I'd like you guys just to see what's going on here at Motorworks Garage. So we picked up another project here. It's a lot bigger than the Doodlebug. I kind of gave a hint saying that it is like kind of like a mini bike you can ride and stuff. So it's actually a lot bigger than a mini bike. It's going to be a beautiful and used, of course, 2005 yz250f. I was looking for a two-stroke. I was looking for a yz250, RM250, CR250, KX250, whatever the 250s two-strokes are, but I couldn't find one for a good price that was either beating the ass or just, I mean, not worth buying, because the market of the bike market is just unreal. So I found a 254 stroke, and it's definitely going to get me by for the next couple of years until I can get everything figured out and stuff. It does not run, of course. I got it to start on starting fluid when I was at the guy's house buying it. He says to kind of give a rundown of it. He has a new top end in it. It was just a kid. I'm guessing he was in high school because he didn't really know much about it. And he was a lot. I mean, he was pretty young. So it's got a new. He took it to a shop. It's got a new top end in it. I did kind of look and see, and it does look like it's got new seals and stuff in it. The carb definitely needs to be gone through because I got it to fire on starting fluid 3 different times, and it just like rev up and then die. So I'm definitely gonna clean the carb. I'm hoping that's the issue. I'm seriously hoping that is the issue. The air box in here, I gotta take the seat off, but the air box is definitely dirty. I'm gonna have to clean that and get some oils and stuff for that. The chain is super loose. I'm gonna have to push the wheel back a little bit and get the chain tightened up. I'm gonna go through, just kind of clean everything up, just like with a scrub brush and clean some stuff. I don't know, I can't really see any stuff on the forks over on this side. There's a little bit of liquid and fluid and stuff on it, so that side might be blown and this side might already be blown and just dried up. So I'm guessing we might have to take the forks apart and rebuild those. I'm draining the oil right now to get some new oil in there, and if you guys can see, it's I mean a little bit see-through, but it's pretty much black. So I definitely want to get this changed. I have some Honda 10W40 oil for my last bike that I had that I'm going to put in here just to get some clean oil running through it when I get it started and stuff. The petcock here isn't leaking or anything like that, but I did, once I get it in the truck, I have a truck topper on my bed, so I forgot to turn it off and it started leaking out the side, but I shut it off and it worked. I didn't have any more fuel leaking out after that. I'm pretty much going to leave it how it is. I'm going to get new tires because these in the back here, the knobs are kind of like chunked off and stuff. I'm going to roll them for now. I'm going to ride on them for now. I don't want to put a lot of money in this bike. I know you guys are really wanting to know I didn't see this. This has got a zip tie on it. I don't know what's going on with this, but it's kind of wrapped around here. But I know you guys want to know probably what the price is. I got this sucker for $1,200. So the kid had it listed for $2 grand, and I didn't have to really bargain with him a lot because talking with him, he already said he's going to take $1,700. So I'm like, okay, well, you know, I guess I'll just have to go and see. He said it didn't run. He said he couldn't get started. It's been sitting all winter. It's February right now, so he said it's been sitting for 5 or 6 months. And he said he went to go and try to fire it up, and it wouldn't run. So he couldn't get it to run or anything. It's not seized up. It's got really good compression. I kicked it over a couple times, and I can't even get it over with my hand. So, yeah, it's got really good compression from what I can tell. He said that the rear shock has been rebuilt. He said the forks have been rebuilt, but I mean, I don't think they have been, just because I can see some fluid on the other side. Other than that, it's a pretty clean bike. The front plastic is sun faded here. A lot of them are kind of just like a dull color just because they look like they've been bent. But other than that, it's a great bike for me to get started on because I don't want anything nice. I want kind of like an older beater bike just so I can, you know, practice wheelies and do all that stuff and not really worry about it to where I know how to fix it. And if I break it or if I dump it so many times, I'm not worried about what it looks like. I can go out and buy a brand new bike, but I don't want to spend $8 grand. This thing was literally, oh yeah, I forgot to finish my, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself, guys. So, yeah, it was, he pretty much talked him down to $1,700. And then once I got there, you know, I kind of was telling him, you know, everything that I can see that's wrong with it. So I asked him what his bottom dollar was, and he said $1,500, and I kind of went over a little bit more stuff, and I got him down to $1,200. So from $2 grand to $1,200, it's kind of unheard of, because I never thought I was going to get that kind of deal as well, but I did. Somehow, somewhere, right down the road from me, pretty much, I got one. So it looks like it's got some Pro Taper bars, or breakaway levers. Looks like Pro Taper bars going to need some new grips. He says it's got all new cables on it, which it looks like they do have some new cables on there. Throttle works great, brakes work great. Front and rear brakes were good. The only thing I'm going to see right now that I have to do is, like I said, kind of push the wheel back to tighten up the chain. I want to get a new chain here in the future, but for now I'm just going to run it. The gears look pretty good. They're not really like pointy at all. They're pretty much rounded and flat on the edges, which is a good thing to see. This one actually, I don't know. We might have to get a new rear sprocket and front sprocket, but the rotor's not warped. I didn't see any leaks underneath the bike, other than now I'm draining the oil, but it's a pretty nice bike. It still doesn't run. It does run on starting fluid, so in this video I'm going to get the seat and plastics off, hopefully get the gas tank out and get that carb off, and we can hopefully clean the carb in the video. I already have a spot set up for the car to be taken apart, but let's finish draining the oil. Let's put oil back in it. I've never dealt with these Yamahas before where it's got the actual oil in the frame. I don't really know how that works, so I kind of got to research that, but other than that, yeah, we're going to get this sucker hopefully running in the next week. So stay tuned. We're going to pull some of these ugly stickers off and just make it look like a basic bike. I love just the stock look of a bike. So, all right, let's get going. We got some work to do. All right, we got the oil drained. It sucks because I thought I had 2 quarts of my CR stuff, my oil, but I only had a half a quart. So I just put it in there to get the old stuff out. And then I'm just going to kind of kick over the bike just a little bit to get the fresh oil just kind of like spun around on the bike. And then after that, I'm going to, well, tonight I'll order some Yamaha lube and get like a gallon of that, and get a filter, get a couple filters for it, just have some nice oil and some good filters ran through it a couple times just to get all the dirty stuff out, because it was, like I said, a little dark. But right now I'm going to be taking out the seat and the plastics. The seat should be coming off right here, and if you guys can see the oil or the filter, it doesn't look the best. So I'm going to definitely have to get it. I'm probably just going to get a new one. And yeah, the filter is a little dirty. Will this just come off now? I hope. Yep. Alright, the bike looks a little different from when I ended off. I didn't do much, really. I didn't do much at all. So I got the subframe off. I have the 2 rear number plates off. So all you got to do to take that subframe off is there's a bolt on this side. There's also a bolt over on this side right here. And then there's a bolt attached to your exhaust. And there's another bolt attached to your exhaust up here. And then you have one little, actually not really little at all. There's one bolt right here that I found without a nut and 3 washers that wasn't even tight. I had to get some PB blaster to get it off though. But that is holding that on. So literally you have about 4 or 5 bolts. So you gotta just pull the whole subframe off. And then that is connected to the carburetor right here from your airbox. And to get the carburetor off, we literally have, I don't know if this is like the hot start or something like that. I have no clue what that is for, but this is was on the top of it. And then you had this little wire connection up here. It's a little 3-prong thing. And then if you come around to the right side of the bike, over here you've got 2 throttle cables. So you've got, I don't even know, upper and lower maybe. But yeah, you got 2 throttle cables, and that's pretty much all. Then you just gotta loosen up your little flange to get it off the motor, and it'll come right off. So I got it over here sitting on the bench. I kind of had to finagle my way out of it to get the lines out, but I got everything off. I am gonna keep the lines for now, but they're super hard and brittle, so later on I am going to replace them. But for now I'm just gonna leave it how it is, and I can already see there's junk in there, so hopefully this is the culprit here. So we are going to get tearing into this thing, see what's in the bottom of this, get the whole bottom of the carb torn apart, and hopefully get this sucker reinstalled pretty soon. All right, we're going to get started here with pulling apart the fuel lines, get those set off to the side. We might end up using those later, but next we're going to go to the bottom of the bowl, to the float bowl. We're going to pull off the 4 screws. I ended up having to use PB Blaster to get 2 of the screws off, and I actually stripped them, so those actually do come in the rebuild kit. In the bottom of the bowl, you can see all that sludge and stuff, so that's part of the reason why I wouldn't start, but we're going to pull out the float, and next we're going to move on to the main jet. This one was definitely, they're pretty tight in there. So, and some of them had a lot of sludge and stuff, but we're going to go to the pilot jet here, and this one definitely had some sludge after looking at it and examining it, so that might have been the reason why it wasn't starting. We're going to go in here and look at the fuel and air mixture screw once we get that pulled out here, and that's going to be this screw right here. You got to make sure that you adjust it and make sure that you make sure it seats, and you have to count how many turns it takes. So I go like half, 1, half, 2 turns until it seats, and just let it seat lightly. Mine was out 3 1/4, and I ended up putting mine back in at 1 1/4, and then once you get your bike running, you can adjust it and figure it out and tune it from there. Other than that, I took apart the top end. It was 2 screws, and it's just your slide on the top there, so I'm putting that back right here. And then I ended up cleaning the exterior of the carb. I just used some carburetor cleaner and a toothbrush and just scrubbed the majority of it. But yeah, we're going to put that plastic cap back in with the main jet and the pilot jet. Next, we're going to examine the needle on the float just to make sure there was no rings on there or any damage to where fuel leaked through as it's floating in the bowl. We're going to get the pin back in there. I had to get in the way there because I just couldn't get the pin in there quite very well. But finally got in there, make sure the float sits there and adjusts and it's not wedged or stuck. And yeah, just put the bowl back together, put the 4 screws in, and to make sure everything's tight. My bowl ended up leaking once I put it back on the bike. But when my rebuild kit comes, it comes with all new gaskets and seals, so I'm not too worried about it. I'll just put a towel underneath there just to make sure that I didn't get a whole bunch of stuff on the motor. All right, and here's our old spark plug. You can kind of see that it's a little bit dark. Most of the time, if you have it running perfectly, it should be like pretty much brown, which this one didn't look too bad, but it definitely was old. But we're going to gap this one and make sure we are getting the right size for us. This one is at 0.30, so we're going to get our new plug and gap that accordingly. It has to be pretty close to 0.30. I mean, for this plug anyway, but just make sure that you guys gap it and make sure you guys have the right adjustment on there. But next we're going to put it in the spark plug hole. I probably should have used a magnet to drop that in there because it is kind of a deep hole to get the plug down in there, but I just kind of wedged my finger in there and wedged up against the wall of the cylinder just to get it down in there nice and easy. Next we're going to get our socket down in there, tighten it up with our ratchet, and just get it a little, don't wrench it down, but just get it snug. We're going to be putting the fuel tank back on and hook it up to the carburetor and get some fuel running to the carb. Like I said before, the carb ended up leaking, but in the rebuild kit, it comes with new gaskets and seals, so you don't even have to worry about that. And then I jumped on the bike and started kicking it and realized I didn't even have my spark plug socket and wire hooked back up to it to give it spark. So I ended up getting back off and hooking in that back up, and once again I just kept kicking, and I kept kicking and kept kicking and kept kicking, but it wouldn't start. So I kind of took the carb back off the bike, adjusted the fuel and air mixture screw, and I don't even remember what it was at now, but put in some starting fluid, gave it a little bit of gas, get a starting fluid through there, and first kick it fired right up. And as you guys can see, I was pretty excited that I actually got it to finally run, because I actually didn't have it running before. It just like fire up and just immediately die. But as long as it fired up for me, I knew it had some good compression. But other than that, we are going to take the car back off the bike for, I think, maybe the 3rd or 4th time, and to go set it over on the workbench, and we are going to just lay that sucker to rest. So we're going to be waiting on the rebuild kit for that. And other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was kind of short, but next video we're going to be having an ultrasonic cleaner and getting this sucker clean.